Hi once again and a very warm welcome to lesson 23. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the improvising we did in the last lesson. We're going to do a little bit more work on that in this lesson, and I'm going to just show you a few different techniques to be able to use when you're improvising. And I'm also going to show you a little extension to the minor pentatonic scale, which everybody finds really useful, and it also helps you to identify which notes you can bend within the scale. We're going to do some more finger picking for if you're learning on acoustic or electric. It works on both. For people that are learning on acoustic, though, I think finger picking is quite an important technique to learn and to develop. And then we'll just do a little bit more practice on the bar chords, because as I've said before, they're very physically demanding chords. So you just need to be a little bit patient. Have a little bit of perseverance, and you'll get there with those bar chords. So a little bit of bar chord work a bit later on. So here we are. We're going to do, first of all, a little bit more work on the improvising that we did last time. Okay, now when we're playing solos or improvising or indeed playing melodies, we have different techniques to be able to execute those different note patterns or melodies. So we have slides. We have what we call pull-offs, where we pull a note back to a note underneath. And we have hammer-ons, where we hammer the note in front as we ascend the scale. And they go obviously with the string bends as well. Okay, so you should now be really familiar with the pentatonic shape that we've been doing for quite a few lessons now, and indeed putting it into practice with the improvising last lesson. I'm going to show you an extension to that, slightly different sequence of notes, but it's still an A minor pentatonic. Again, it can be moved into G or B or any other key, but I'm going to demonstrate it in A because it is nice and central. Okay, and it goes like this. Okay, so the tab will be coming up on your screen. I'm going to walk you through it nice and slowly. It is predominantly the same notes, albeit in a different way. So we're going to use the third finger on the A to start with, and we're coming back to the third fret, which is the same note. So the second note in that scale is the same note as the traditional pentatonic shape we've been doing. We're just doing it in a slightly different way. So third finger on the root to first finger, third fret on the fifth string, third finger to the fifth fret. Then I'm going to slide my third finger up to the seventh fret on that same string, onto the fifth fret with my first finger on the next string, to the seventh fret and my third finger, to my fifth fret on the third string with my first finger, to the seventh fret, my third finger. I'm going to slide again up to the ninth fret this time. Now there's a little shift on this B string. We're going to come across a semitone onto the 8th fret with my first finger on the second string, to the 10th fret on the same string, to the 8th fret again on the top string, to the 10th fret, and then I'm going to slide again up to the 12th fret. Now that's not an A, it's not a root note that we're ending on, it's just an extension from the traditional pentatonic shape we've been using. Back down, slide back down with third finger to 10, to 8th, down onto the second string to 10, to my first finger on the 8th fret, little step across again to the 9th fret on the third string with my third finger, slide back down my third finger, to my first finger on the 5th fret, down to the 7th fret on the 4th string, to the 5th fret, to the 7th fret on the 5th string, Slide back down to the 5th fret there, to the first finger on the 3rd fret, and finishing back where I started on the A root. Now, like I said, this scale is really good for identifying which notes you can bend, because we said, or I said when we looked at string bending, that the rule for string bending is that there has to be a note within the scale to bend that note to. Okay, so if we take the traditional bend on the 3rd string that we've been using, and you look at that sliding pentatonic scale, you can see that we can slide up to that note as well as bend it. So it clearly identifies that that is a good bend. Just going through the scale again. The first slide there, that can be a bend, although traditionally we tend not to bend those lower strings because they're quite hard to bend. So, you know, as you're quite new to this, I'd ignore that, just use it as a slide, pass through it. Slide there, we've got the bend to that one. Moving forward. That's a great bend on the top string there. And the slide there shows where you're bending to. We're bending up to that note. Can't bend that one because there's no note in front to bend to, so that just demonstrates that, you know, we can't bend every single note. It has to have a note in front within the scale to bend to. So that's a good one. Again, can't bend that one. Horrible. That's the one. Now, it's also a great scale, this, to extend your improvising a little bit higher and to move higher up in that scale. So the box position. That's as high as it goes. The sliding one extends it a bit higher, so you can get a little bit higher in the scale register and get those nice top string bends when you're comfortable to do so. It's a great scale, that. Take some time to learn it first and then introduce it into your improvising when you feel ready. So I'm going to just show you now how to hammer on and pull off. So in musical terms, this is called legato playing, which means smooth. Okay, so when we play hammer-ons and pull-offs, it smoothens out the playing rather than the quite harsh picking technique. So when we're going up the scale, we hammer on. So what I'm doing, I'm picking the string once and then hammering down with my finger without picking again, so that my fretting fingers are creating the note. I can practice that going all the way up the scale, hammering on. Now you have to do it with quite some force to begin with. But then what that does, it smoothens out your playing when you're adding it into your improv. Likewise, coming back down the scale, we play what's called a pull off. So we're pulling the note, this time plucking the string once, and I'm pulling my finger off the string to create the note, which is going back to my first finger there, which has to be kept on behind it. On to the next string. Now you notice my first finger has to be always behind the note that I'm pulling off, because I'm pulling off back to my first finger, the note at my first finger. So if my first finger's not on, I'm not going to be able to create, I'm not going to be able to execute that technique. Okay, so we'll try and add some of those in now to the improv that we were playing last week. Okay, so let's do a little bit more work on the bar chords that we began to learn last week. I'm going to give you a slightly different chord sequence to practice, just to vary it up from the B minor sequence we did last week. I'm going to move it down to A minor this time. And what I want you to try and do is to keep the chord held for 2 bars each. So we're going to play 2 bars on A minor. Down to G for 2 bars, down to F for 2 bars, and then repeat through. So we're holding the chord down for a little bit longer on each chord. So a little bit more strength required. Only a little short exercise. It'll just stand you in good stead for the song that we're beginning on the next lesson. So a couple of bar chord exercises to practice there, and keep those, like I said, keep those shapes. Getting down to that F is going to be probably the hardest one. Bottom of the guitar neck. Frets are quite wide, so see how you get on with that. And then, as I say, we'll be moving on to the teenage kicks in the next lesson, which is a great exercise for putting those bar chords together. Okay, so nice little variation for the finger picking here. We're just picking down the strings on the last finger picking exercise in the same sequence. Now this time on this little exercise, we're kind of varying the pattern of the picking hand here. So we're altering the sequence of the strings that are being picked, and it makes for quite an interesting pattern as well, and it gives the whole sequence a more musical and interesting sound. But that comes with a price. It's a little bit more tricky. May take a little bit more practice. So I'm going to talk you nice and slowly through it. Now the fingering with your picking hand is exactly the same rule. We're using the thumb for the root. First finger is going to take care of the 3rd string, second finger is going to take care of the 2nd string, and 3rd is taking care of the top string. We're just going to switch the order of the strings that are being picked, and obviously we've got a different chord sequence here that your fretting hand's going to hold down some different chords. So the sequence is like so, and it's the same for each chord, so you've no need to worry about a different picking sequence. It's the same for each chord. So thumb for the root, third finger for the top string, first finger on the third string, and second finger on the second string. That's the sequence. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So we play that twice for each chord, because that makes up the bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Then we're going to go to an A chord. This time the root, don't forget the root's on the 5th string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going back to E. Again, root on the 6th string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and B7 this time, keeping my second finger in position. Change to the B7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now changing to an A major. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and A7. Just taking my middle finger off. And then to finish 2 bars on B7. And then repeat that through, play it through twice. And the last time, just finish there on the root note. Now again, like I said in the last lesson, if you're fretting hands holding the chord down, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you kind of sometimes get the order slightly wrong. Obviously aim for an accurate picking pattern, but it'll still sound okay if you sometimes hit a wrong string. So don't let that put you off. You know, just keep picking. And eventually it'll come. Don't worry if the odd string is slightly wrong. And see how you go. Lovely sounding way of playing that, and it'll sound just as nice on an electric guitar as well. Keep your sound, if you're playing it on electric, keep your tone nice and clean, just a plain clean tone on your amp if you're playing on electric there. Okay, well that's the end of lesson 23. Got some real fantastic stuff coming up now in your playing. I'm hoping you're seeing that development in terms of your musicality with your improvising and your chords. The finger picking as well, that's a really nice way to play. And so well done for getting this far, and like I said, I hope you're using the internet, the websites that we gave you last time to pick out your own songs and experiment with your own songs using the chords that you've learned. So really interesting stuff. I'm really enjoying getting to this stage of the course now, because your playing's developing into some really interesting music, and you'll take those forward. It'll only get better. Your improvising and your chords and your bar chords will only keep improving, but it'll become more enjoyable now that all that knowledge and those techniques are getting established within your muscle memory. Your playing will become all the more enjoyable. So if you practice for this lesson, we've got the extension to the pentatonic scale, which is a great scale. Really sort of make a point of getting used to that, because it'll really add another dimension to your playing. That sliding pentatonic scale. We've got the new techniques, the hammer-ons, the pull-offs to go with your string bending, and the slides as well. You can use the slides in that minor pentatonic scale to utilise when you're improvising. And then we've got your bar chords. Just slog away at them. It is a little bit of a slog. I know they're kind of hard work, but the rewards will come. The rewards will come. Just keep persevering. A little bit of patience, perseverance, and those rewards will come. Okay, so keep playing, keep enjoying that instrument now with the improv and all the interesting things we've got going. Keep experimenting as well, like I said, and keep enjoying your instrument. And I look forward to seeing you on the next lesson.